In today's video, we're going to look at why you find yourself constantly wanting reassurance in your relationship and how you can manage this effectively. So, this is going to help you to feel safe and secure in your relationship and feel loved. And at the same time, it's going to reduce the pressure on your partner to keep reassuring you, which from their perspective can become tiring and emotionally draining. This gives you the best chance to have a healthy, balanced relationship in the long term. And you do deserve a healthy, happy relationship. And I want to give you all the best tips and advice to help you achieve that. So hit that subscribe button now to make sure that you don't miss any of our videos. Now, it's completely normal to want reassurance that our partner loves and values us. We all have things that will make us feel insecure. Our anxieties can become what I call brain weasels, which are thoughts that run around inside your mind, causing chaos and stopping you from thinking clearly about a situation. And it can stop you really understanding that you're genuinely loved. That then means that we're asking for more reassurance and they're going to be twice as frustrated. Now, one of the main things that reassurance in a relationship does is it calms those intrusive thoughts that come from our personal insecurities. When reassurance is effective, when it works, your brain weasels go quiet for weeks or even months. And that is so relaxing. It feels great. Unfortunately, when reassurance isn't effective, we find ourselves asking for more and more and more from our partners in an effort to calm ourselves down and give ourselves that feeling of safety and confidence. Why would you find yourself needing reassurance over and over? What makes it so hard for you to understand and to feel safe? When you find yourself constantly needing reassurance, it means that one of two things is happening. Either you're not getting the reassurance you're asking for, or you're finding it difficult to accept and believe the reassurance that you're being given. So let's look at the first one of these first. Obviously, if your requests for reassurance are never being met, that's a problem for your relationship. Either your partner doesn't understand that you're asking for reassurance, or they just don't want to give it to you. Now, if your partner doesn't recognize that you're asking for reassurance, this can be surprisingly difficult. You ask for reassurance when you're feeling scared and vulnerable, and you might also feel lonely and uncomfortable. You're just not in a great position to explain your needs in detail or open yourself up and be even more honest and vulnerable than you were when you started and when you were first asking for reassurance. The good news is that you can help your partner to understand when you need reassurance, and you don't have to do it in the moment when you feel at your worst. You can explain to them what you need in response to your request for reassurance at a time when you're feeling emotionally strong and relaxed. If your partner doesn't want to give you reassurance, this is a much more difficult problem to overcome. You're going to need to discuss this with them to understand what's going on deep down for them and whether there's something in their history that makes it difficult for them to give you the reassurance that you need. If you can't resolve that issue, you might have to consider whether your relationship is actually worth saving. You deserve a partner who will give you at least some reassurance, and a partner who can't give you that might need to do some work on themselves before they're going to be capable of having a happy, healthy relationship. Now, if you struggle to accept or believe reassurance when your partner tries to give it, that can be a sign of a deeper underlying problem for you. You might constantly ask for reassurance because the reassurance you receive doesn't quiet your doubt or anxiety. So, what could make you struggle to accept reassurance when it's offered? Well, you might have been betrayed by someone you trusted, which makes it then so much harder for you to trust now. Oddly, it can also happen if you receive a sudden shock, such as someone you love dying unexpectedly. This gives you a sense of impermanence. You're constantly aware that people can leave you even if they don't want to or don't mean to. So you feel rejected and let down and as if they failed you, even though you know intellectually that they haven't, and that they wouldn't. And that's a really difficult one to deal with, because when you feel as though someone you love who's passed away or has unexpectedly had to leave from through no fault of their own, but you feel betrayed by them, that's setting up a conflict in you. And that can be really, really tough. So if you are going through that, I feel for you. I really do. Now, your attachment style can also make it much more difficult for you to accept reassurance when it's offered to you. If you have an anxious attachment style, you might find that you need a lot more external reassurance than others, and you find it harder than others do to believe it. So, what can you do to make your need for reassurance more manageable in your relationship and actually in your life in general? Well, the first thing that you can do is learn how to ask for reassurance openly. One of the worst things that you can do if you feel in need of reassurance is to hint or imply that you're feeling insecure without actually saying it. Hints get missed, and some people might even deliberately ignore hints because they're frustrated that you're not asking openly. Now, that's not kind, but I can at least try and understand where that frustration is coming from. But when it happens to you, you feel doubly rejected. From your perspective, your partner isn't spontaneously giving you the reassurance, which would be your ideal outcome, and they're not even giving it when you ask for it. And even worse than that, your partner might not even realize that you wanted reassurance in the first place. So then they're completely thrown by how unhappy and hurt you are, and you've got this whole set of confusion, and you're having to deal with their emotions as well. Now, being open about the times when you're feeling insecure is scary. I'm not going to deny that, but it's key to helping you build a stronger relationship. The second thing you can do is you can work on loving yourself. Now, loving yourself sounds like a really easy fix. Just like, make sure you love yourself. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, fine. We all know it's not actually as easy as it sounds. It's a long, slow business of building your sense of self-worth, self-esteem, and self-confidence. But it can help you to reduce your need for reassurance from others, as well as having a whole host of other benefits for your life and for your physical and mental health. Now, in an ideal world, you'd be doing this before you get into a relationship with the guy of your dreams. But life doesn't always work out that way. That's okay. There's still plenty of time and loads of opportunities for you to work on your self-esteem and your self-worth even while you're dating someone. In fact, a great partner is probably going to be really keen to support you and to help you in this. Now, that doesn't mean that you can make your need for reassurance their problem. Constant requests for reassurance can be frustrating, partly because it feels like a sign of distrust or disrespect. So try and be open about the work that you're doing on yourself and ask for support with it. A great partner will love and respect you for that and want to help. You can also learn to deal with risk and uncertainty. Now, one of the main reasons that any of us want reassurance is to try to reduce or even eliminate our perception of risk and uncertainty. So we're not trying to take away all risk and uncertainty. We know that that's not going to work, but we want to feel like the world is just less risky because, let's face it, at the moment, the world feels pretty damn risky. Unfortunately, asking for reassurance doesn't actually work like that. However wonderful it might sound to have somebody else wrap their arms around you and keep you safe from all harm, no one in your life is going to actually be able to take away all of the risks and all of the uncertainties that we have to face. Now, I wish I could tell you that there was something you could do that would take away your fear or eliminate uncertainty. I can't. It's simply not possible. Life is uncertain, and none of us can ever promise that we will be with another person forever. Rather than trying to take away risks, why not try to find ways that you feel able to meet the challenges that you face? Risk and uncertainty are only this scary when you don't feel like you can actually cope with them, when you don't feel like you can rise to meet those challenges. Focusing on feeling more confident and competent can help you to feel less anxious. Try asking yourself what you're most afraid of when you need reassurance, and then work on building up the skills you need to deal with those potential situations. It's also important to understand what you find reassuring. When you want reassurance from your partner, it's not always enough to let them know that you want reassurance. You might also have to teach them how to reassure you. Now, there are lots of different ways that your partner can try to reassure you. They can use words, they can use physical contact, loads of things. And some of those will be more effective for you than others. And there might also be certain ways of reassuring you that work better for different kinds of insecurities. So, if you're not feeling very attractive, or you're worried that your partner just isn't physically attracted to you anymore, words might not be enough. You're most likely to feel reassured by physical touch and feeling as though they actually do want to because they've proved it. Now, explaining what you find reassuring and maybe even why is a really useful tool. It gives you the reassurance that you want from your partner, and it gives them an insight into what's going on and helps them to be more proactive as well. You might also want to deal with your underlying attachment style. Now, your underlying attachment style is one of those things we've already mentioned can make it difficult for you to feel reassured, even when your partner is doing their very best to give you the support that you need. So, if you have an anxious attachment style, it's worth looking at what you can do to feel more securely attached. Now, this is another solution that isn't going to happen overnight, but it's another one that brings a whole host of benefits as well as reducing how much reassurance that you need from your partner. But how do you achieve a more secure attachment style? Now, there are lots of tools that you can use, and I'm sure I'm going to make a video on that really soon. But often, the most effective way to become more securely attached is to work with a great therapist who can help you work through your childhood wounds and learn ways to trust that other people are going to be there for you when you need them. You can also work on believing your partner when they reassure you. Now, this makes what reassurance they do give you far more effective. And it really comes down to learning to trust. So ask yourself why you struggle to believe them when they say or do something reassuring. Is it because they've done something to damage your trust in the past? Or is it because you just struggle to trust at all? Or is it that someone else has damaged your trust? If they've damaged your trust in the past, you might need to work with them to deal with the hurt that they've left behind. But if it's due to someone else having hurt you, or a more general problem with trust, it's often helpful to look at ways that you can open up slightly and gradually with your partner to help you build trust with them. So that's our video on how to stop wanting constant reassurance in your relationship. Do remember that it is completely okay to want some reassurance. It only becomes a problem when it's a constant need, or when you struggle to actually feel reassured, even though you know that your partner is giving you the things that should be reassuring to you. So how about you? What's helped to calm your need for reassurance? Let me know in the comments down below, especially if you have an idea that might help others. That's always really, really helpful. And as always, make sure that you like and subscribe.